This is the beginning of the journey. I am getting my myomectomy surgery 2 days from now.
Murphy say.
So, I wanted to vlog it because when I got my tonsillectomy last year, I did a lot of research. Like, I'll go through YouTube, see what other people went through, like how they were feeling, how they prepped. So this is the beginning of the journey. So for those who don't know what a myomectomy is, it's basically a surgery to remove uterine fibroids. And for those who don't know what uterine fibroids are, so basically uterine fibroids are a non-cancerous growth tumor. It's a growth of tissues that develop in the uterus. And in an abdominal myomectomy is a major surgical procedure that's used to remove these fibroids. Fibroids, sadly, women are burdened with fibroids, and women of color are burdened with fibroids. Even our Vice President Kamala Harris has fibroids, and there's a bill in the House right now to do more research about uterine fibroids, but they are a burden to my life. So the surgery is happening 2 days from now. How am I feeling? I just got back from doing like groceries. I bought Ensure. I bought like a lot of protein. The recovery time is 4 to 6 weeks, so I'm gonna be home for a couple of time. So I'm gonna be home for a while. But yeah, this is the journey. I want to document it just so that like other people could have a sense of what to expect, so that I can remember what happened. But yeah, let's get this started. So how am I preparing for this procedure? First of all, I did mini twists for my hair because I knew, first of all, if I'm going to be in pain, I do not have time to do my hair. And I also didn't want to put any braids in it just because I don't want the weight of my neck. I realized when I had my tonsillectomy last year, not having any hair extensions in my head just gave me, like, I had to concentrate on the pain of the procedure, not necessarily the pain of my neck. Not saying like it's that painful in my neck, but I didn't want my hair to be free, so I did some mini twists yesterday just to get that out of the way. They could last me 4 to 6 weeks, because it's your own hair, so you'll be fine. I bought all the food and the snacks I'm gonna need. Obviously, thank God we have like Instacart and stuff, so you can deliver groceries to your home. At work I took some time off for a short-term disability, which I didn't know was a thing. Like, you never know anything's a thing until you need it. That's one thing I've learned about this whole process. I'll see you soon. It has been 6 months since my myomectomy surgery, and I'm now ready to talk about it. As you can see from the background, so much has happened in the past 6 months. I moved. I got my own apartment. And if you haven't noticed that I got my apartment, you should be watching my apartment hunting series and my apartment remodel decorations. So I moved from a luxury apartment into a pre-war apartment, and I love it so freaking much. I feel like now that I'm in a pre-war apartment, everybody that I meet is also in the pre-war apartment. They're like, girl, you didn't know the pre-war apartment is where it's at. Pre-war apartments is where it's at, because I honestly love this building. Everybody in this building is so freaking nice. They take such good care of this building. The price that I'm paying for the space, like, come on now. Like, I'm never looking back. They could renovate the kitchen though, but I'm never looking back because it's amazing. But make sure, but definitely go make sure to check that out. Now back to my myomectomy journey. When I recorded the previous clip, I really wanted to record the journey, like before and after. The first clip of me, that was in January. When I recorded that in January, I was so nervous about the surgery. I was not about it, because this is an open surgery. Like, they cut you open and then go inside and take things out. So I was definitely very nervous. Not as nervous because the prior year, 2022, I also had a tonsillectomy. I got my tonsils removed, and that was necessary. My tonsils were just bothering me. Every chance my tonsils would get, they would bother me. My tonsils were my ops. So 2022, I had a tonsillectomy. And then 2023, 2023 is when I found out. Technically, I found out the same year that I needed both things done, and I was like, okay, one at a time, God. Like, it's a one at a time thing. So 2020, 2023 is when I found out about both. But 2023 is when I had my tonsillectomy. 2024 is when I had myomectomy. I remember going to my my physician for a physical for both, because you need a physical for both. And the second time around, she was like, haven't I done this before? She was like, this is deja vu. She looked at me, she was like, why are you here again? And I was like, another surgery, I don't know what to tell you. But this is my last. This is my last. This is too much for one person to handle. This is my last. Anyway, so if you don't know what myomectomy is the removal of uterine fibroids. And there's two ways that you could, they could take out the fibroids, the uterine fibroids in you. So either an open myomectomy where they like slice you open, cesarean style, C-section style, or they have these robotic legs, like microscopically, they could do that. And my OB was like, no, we're not going to do the micro because I want to make sure if we're going in there, we take every little thing out. And I was like, that's why I like you. So he said, we're doing it C-section style. It's going to be a small cut. We're going to get everything out of there. Boom, bam, bang, you're done. Tell me how 3 weeks before the surgery, well, no, not 3 weeks. That's a lie. Tell me how a couple of months before the surgery, like I told him, yes, like let's do it, let's take it out, because it was pretty big. I'll tell you how big it was later. But before I was supposed to have the surgery, this man breaks his arm. Oh my God. I was just like, are you kidding me? I've already postponed the surgery, and now you're telling me that now that I'm ready to have it, you broke your arm? This man broke his arm on vacation. I was so upset because he was the best. Everybody there's 3 doctors at that specific place that I go to, and everybody was there was like, yes, this doctor, he is the doctor. Everybody, and he also did my sister's surgery. That's another thing. My sister had a similar surgery the year before, and he did that. So I was like, okay, I already know your style. You were my OB first. This man goes and breaks his arm. So I was like, okay. But he had another person, another doctor in the same clinic. I can't even say clinic. Another doctor in the same office. So he was like, oh, this doctor can do it for you. I was kind of hesitant, but I was like, you know what, whatever. We need to get this done. So that new doctor is not my doctor who's going to do the surgery. The size of my fibroid, as my doctor would say, so the size of my fibroids were the size of a grapefruit, and that's how my OB told me. He was like, hey, like I did a sonogram, you have a fibroid in you the size of a grapefruit, which was so wild. And I tell you why it's wild, because like after I found out that I had the fibroids, I went to do so much research in regards to uterine fibroids, because I didn't know much about it like that. So when he told me it was the size of grapefruit, I started looking it up. Some people, when they have fibroids, you could tell, like you could visually tell, like it protrudes. Some women look pregnant with their fibroid, and for me, you could not tell. And you know, I was in the gym, I was working out. I was working out, but like you just couldn't tell. You couldn't see that I had something the size of grapefruit. So grapefruit is pretty big, but obviously the human body is amazing, and it has layers and layers of muscles and stuff. But he told me it was the size of grapefruit. I was like, oh my God. He was like, oh, you've never had any pain with your periods or anything, like nothing of that sense. And like in hindsight is 2020. When I do think about it, I used to have crazy back pain, like crazy like back pain. Like now I could say that it was crazy, but in the past I would say it was bad, but it wasn't I guess it wasn't anything that caused alarm to me, which I feel like I should have paid more attention to my body in that sense, because it was pretty bad. I would sleep with patches on my back, but then it would go away after my period was over, so I didn't really think much to that. But again, hindsight 2020, if you have symptoms of something, go to your doctor and ask about it. But like it was tolerable. It wasn't causing any major change to my life, so it wasn't something I really considered that much. He says it's the size of grapefruit, we have to take it out. There's also other small little ones, and we'll take, he says, once I'm in there, I'm just gonna take everything out at once. I was like, you better, because you're cutting. So the day I go in, super nervous. Having this being my second round, I guess I wasn't that nervous. I think my favorite part, which this is dark humor, but I think my favorite part about the whole experience is choosing what song I was gonna go out to. And I say this now, but like when I got my tonsils removed, my ENT basically told me, she was like, hey, like you could pick, like, I don't know if she brought it up or I brought it up, but she was like, oh, like while you're in the surgery, we can play music. Do you have any music you want to like listen to before we put you under? And I said, oh, I get a last song. But my OB told me that yes, because I asked him the same question. He was like, yes, you get to pick a song to go to sleep to, but anything but gospel music, because we don't need any Lord come take me away while we're trying to put you under, because we need you to wake up. And that was the funniest thing I've ever heard, because I was like, gospel music, because at first he was like, anything but gospel, and I said gospel. He was like, yeah, like we don't need oh Lord come grab me away from this land. And I thought it was the funniest thing. The song that I use, and I use the same song twice because I personally love the song, and I think it's a song that calms me down a lot. It's an Afrobeat song. It's fairly new. It's very overplayed, but I love that song. Whenever I hear it, I'm just like, my baby, my Valentine. But if you're wondering, like, girl, can you listen to that song now regularly without thinking you're about to fall asleep? And the answer is, you're correct. Because whenever I hear that song now, I've associated it with having surgery and me going to sleep, but I thought that was a perfect song. Like, if that was my last breath, I'm sorry, but I would be okay with that song being my last breath. But that was the song that I used. Love Nawanting Ting. I think please don't butcher me for the pronunciation. My baby, my Valentine. If you leave me, I go die. I swear, you're like the oxygen I breathe. Cause if I be honest, I am so obsessed. I could barely listen to. I feel like I listened to the first surgery. I think like I probably got maybe 30 seconds in because I was talking to the anesthesiologist, and then gone, and then you wake up the next and you're in post-op and you're just like. But that was that song. Let's stop talking about songs. But that was one of my favorite parts, was picking the songs. After the surgery is successful, he removes the fibroids, and I'm just like, oh, thank the Lord. They roll me out of post-op. You know, I wake up. They're taking me to my room. Walk by. They take me to the elevator. I turn. I see my family. I see my sister and my mom. And I'm like, oh, I'm alive. I'm so funny. I'm alive. They roll me downstairs, and I'm going to my room. And I recall my sister's room when she had her surgery. She unfortunately had a 2-bedroom. You know, I was like, okay. She had a 2-bedroom, so I'm thinking I want to get something similar to hers. They rolled me into this unit, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. This is really nice. And then they rolled me into the room, and it was a single bed, so a private room. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. Like, they had like a wardrobe type cupboard from where you like put things. It was like wooden. Like, the hospital was really nice. Like, the hospital room was really nice. I'm gonna insert a video of the hospital because I told my friend, I was like, you better record this because I need the people to know that this private room was really nice. And then the first night after this surgery, prepare yourself. So uncomfortable. Oh my sweet Lord. I never felt a level of discomfort than that first night. First of all, I wasn't even that hungry. Everything hurt. Like, I really have a very low tolerance for pain. I just don't like pain, like, whatsoever. So like, I was in so much pain. You know, they would come. I don't know another thing. When I initially went into the surgery, I remember the first nurse did an IV right here. Why did I wake up and there was an IV here? And this is like, the top of your hand is one of the most painful parts to have an IV inserted. So I was like, why is there 2 IVs in me? But anyway, whatever. They're pushing all the medications through this one. And I was like, okay, so what's the point of this one? Why do we have 2 IVs going on? Anyway, so it was very painful. The first night, I was so gassy. Like, I just wanted to burp, but it wasn't coming out. It wasn't coming out. TMI, it wasn't coming out either way, but like there was just so much gas. And then my sister was like, well, did you know they pump you with a lot of gas and then they move your organs aside in order to get to that specific area in order to take out the fibroids. So like your body, you just need to release all the gas. I could not sleep the first night in the hospital. There was no way I was sleeping. I felt so uncomfortable, so gassy. So I know myself that like hot water calms me down. Like hot water helps me with digestion and just gas. So like throughout the night, my mom was sleeping, but throughout the night, I would ask the nurse continuously for hot water, and that was the only way I got through that first night. I needed hot water because I was just so uncomfortable and so gassy. Okay, second day. Was this the second day? No, this was when I'm trying to figure out when I walked. And I think it was the second day. So they came, you know, the whole crew be walking in. The resident, the intern, the anesthesiologist, the family, everybody and their mom comes in. And, you know, I'm a pretty chipper person. But when my OB came in to check on me after the surgery, you know what the first thing this man said? Well, no, that's not even, because it wasn't a man. It was a resident. It was a girl. The first thing this girl said, she was like, girl, you gotta tell me your workout routine, because when we sliced and diced, the abs are on point. What do you do? And I was like, don't do this. Because I didn't think that would be like one of the first things that I would hear after surgery. But she was like, girl, like your abs are abbing. Like you're like, she was like, there's no fat, like no fat whatsoever. I said, don't tell me this now, because I'm gonna go be walking around telling people there was no fat. No fat whatsoever. And then she was just like, what do you do? And I was like, I do a lot of yoga and I do a lot of Pilates, especially Pilates now. But I went back to yoga, a lot of yoga and Pilates. I work out, but really core, especially yoga. Yoga is all about core and balance. At least the type of yoga I do. But like my core is tight because I do a lot of yoga. She was like, really? I was like, yes, girl, you need to sign up for some of the classes. So she told me that, and then my OB came in and he said the same thing. When he came, he was like, girl, there's no fat. I said, guys, I don't know what to tell you. It's a yoga. Thinking about this now, it was so funny, but like it was such a compliment. He basically told me all the fibroids are out. Okay, all the fibroids are out. Now we're just gonna have to do the healing process. You know, try to walk as much as possible when you can get up. And yeah, we'll see you in like the end of the month. It was either the middle of the month or the end of the month. How did I find out that I was on the same floor as BEYONCE? A nurse came. So there was this nurse that was coming down, and she was like, oh, like she wasn't my nurse, but she was just a nurse on the floor. She was like, oh, I saw that your name was Ghanaian. Oh, hi. I was like, ah. So she was the first person to take me on my walk. She was like, oh, have you tried walking yet? And I said no, because the amount of pain I'm in and the amount of discomfort, I don't even want to attempt it. But like they said, during this recovery, you must walk, you must get that blood flowing, no blood clots. I was like, okay. She was the person that got me up. It was so painful. Like, you think, like, I'm sorry, but I was in so much pain. Getting up was just so painful and so uncomfortable. And you can't really, like, straighten up. After the surgery, you're just going to be, like, kind of crunched. Like, you can't straighten your back because everything is tight down here. So you're kind of just, like, wobbling. How do I do this? It's kind of just like wobbling. So she gets me up. The IV is still on me, so I'm holding the pole. She was like, okay, let's just walk back and forth. So as we're walking, she was like, oh, I don't know how the conversation came up. Oh, I know how the conversation came up. I was like, oh my God, this floor is so nice. Like, this unit is so nice. She was like, yeah, like, I'm actually very surprised they put you here because this is for like private patients. I said, private? I hope my insurance is paying for this. But I think they were probably just like booked up in the other floors and they just moved me there by chance and by luck, and that was the best thing ever. But she was like, yeah, like Beyonce had Blue Ivy on this floor. I said, what? And I knew she wasn't lying, because as we were walking, as much pain as I was in, I was also looking around the other rooms. I said, let me look around the other rooms and see what's going on. So some of the other rooms were much bigger, much nicer. Like, I'm saying my room was pretty nice, but the other rooms were nicer. So I can understand that, like, people on this floor are paying money, and my insurance, just by luck, they just put me here. So when she told me that, I was hyped. That made my whole hospital stay. I said, till this day, I'm going to tell everyone I stayed on the same floor that Blue Ivy was born. I was like, ah. But then I really knew that everything she said was correct, because when we ordered food, you order room service to the room, like this is a hotel. You order room service to your room, and they come in wearing like a butler outfit, like they're like tuxedoed up. And I said, oh yeah, this is not the regular Medicare Medicaid room. This is definitely like, you must have money room. Because when both people who came, because we ordered food multiple times, and when they came, I was just like, oh, this room is fancy. The food even tasted better, and I hate hospital food. Food tasted way better. I was like, wow, I'm in pain right now, but I am enjoying. So if you're gonna get your surgery, I really pray and hope you get put into a room like I did, because my room was amazing. So I'm putting that energy on you. Accept the energy that you're gonna get an amazing room. Because that room was amazing. So after that first walk, getting back into that bed was tough. It was tough. I can't stress enough how much pain I was in, because it was just so painful. Getting home, so that's everything that happened at the hospital. Because basically, I would try to walk as much as possible, just try to walk around, sit up. Sitting up was a hassle. I was just like crunched over the whole time. The next day, getting into the wheelchair to go to my sister's car, hey, it was so hard. It was so hard. I'm like laughing about this now because it's been 6 months, but getting from the bed to the wheelchair to the car was so hard. It was so hard. And then it got harder getting from the wheelchair into the car. And she has an SUV, into the car. Oh my god, like lifting your leg is just so painful. Obviously you have pain medication, but I don't know, it was surpassing the pain medication for me. So getting into the car was a feat that I know I have accomplished, and to this day I still think about that moment, because I was just like, it was also the winter, so it was like kind of cold, but getting my legs up into the SUV was tough, and her driving, just even like movements to my house, was very difficult. So fast forward, we're in my apartment. I bought so many things to prep. Ensure, I got so much Ensure, because that's basically a bulk of where I got all my protein. A whole lot of Ensure, juice, food. And this was like a different prep than my tonsillectomy, because with my tonsillectomy I could not eat. I was so hungry. But same thing with Ensure, protein shakes, like things that have protein in it. But tonsillectomy was different, because that's your throat and you cannot. I was so hungry. I was so hungry after that surgery. Anyway, this one I could eat, so that was good. But definitely load up on the Ensure. I have boxes and boxes of Ensure, and I have friends who would come and give me Ensure as well. So like that was also really amazing. We get home. My bed, I don't know who told me, I've made my bed so comfortable for my normal self. I have a mattress topper, mattress pad, and a mattress whatever. I have layers, so my bed is pretty high. Didn't think about how I was gonna get up under my bed. Initially, my mom was staying with me, so there was an air mattress in my room that she was in, and I was like, oh, I was just gonna be in the air mattress, she takes my bed, because I knew ahead of time that my bed was gonna be too hard for me to get on top of. So I was like, you know what, I'll take the air mattress. I tried to sit on that air mattress as soon as I got home. There was no way. No sir, no siree. There was no way in God's great earth that I was getting on that air mattress, because first of all, it was moving, it wasn't firm, and I was already in so much pain, it just wasn't it. So we were able to like makeshift like a stepping stool for me to like step on in order to get on top of my bed. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know why my bed is so high. Regular me understands that like it's perfect for regular me. Slightly disabled me, no. It just, no. If you hurt your back, it's hard to get in that bed. So the way my bed was set up, we had pillows behind me, so I wasn't laying flat because that would have been way too painful. So there was just like pillows behind me, mimicking when a hospital bed is like slightly up. So like you're kind of seated and not laying, and then I had pillows on both sides. You really have to tuck yourself in, because if you're the type of person when you sleep you roll, that's not happening. That's not happening. You're not gonna roll. The pain itself will stop you from rolling. So I had to sleep on my back for that whole almost 2 months, because this wasn't happening. Out, pain here. One thing I must say, get ahead of the pain, don't go behind the pain. Because when I initially went home, I feel like I was taking my medication. I mean, I was taking it as it was prescribed, but I feel like I wasn't getting ahead of it. I was kind of behind it. So I would feel the pain and be like, oh, like I need the medication. But I would have to, I feel like the better way of saying is kind of backtrack, like follow, let the medication be ahead of the pain. Because the first 2 days, that's what I was doing, it was not working. So I made sure that like I was getting ahead of the pain, because Lord, I mean, this is like a whole surgery. I didn't think about it until probably I was laying there with nothing but my thoughts, because I couldn't really do anything but sleep, eat, go. Oh, let me not even talk about peeing. Oh my God. If you have a low toilet, I don't know, maybe get a higher toilet. If you made it this far, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about my myomectomy journey. Hopefully this helps someone that you know. If you yourself are going through the surgery, definitely make sure to comment any questions that you have, because when I tell you the amount of research that I did, because I always like to see how other people like reacted to these type of things, like how they went through it, like what did they buy, like how did they prep. Definitely make sure to comment down below, and definitely make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and send this to anyone that you know is having the surgery. You might be having the surgery. But I hope this was a holistic approach to what to expect. Again, my pain tolerance is very, very low. It's not very, very low. I can handle pain, but like it was very painful. This having been my second surgery too, so it was very painful. So like, definitely make sure to get the pain meds. Oh, another hot tip. A friend of mine, because at one point, because of the fact that I was sleeping in one position and on my back was hurting so much, and she lent me her heating pad. So if you have a heating pad, or I recommend you buying a heating pad, that will help so much with like just you lying down, because half the time for like a good 2 weeks you're not going to be able to move that much, so you're gonna be lying down just trying to get the body to rest. So definitely get a heating pad. I 100% recommend it. It definitely made all the difference. Yeah, and get the Ensure heating pad. Ensure, walk, rest, and take your medication, and enjoy the little I was gonna say enjoy the little buzz that you get from the pain meds. No, those pain meds, at one point, I don't know if I was just like in so much pain or what, but the pain meds had me floating. I was floating in the air. And then when you would come down from the float, the pain would hit. And then you take the medication, floating, pain hit, floating, pain hit. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this journey. I hope you learned something. I hope you have an amazing surgery if you are going to surgery. And I hope you have an amazing recovery after the fact. Please make sure to walk, drink your protein, ensure it up, and definitely make sure to check out my other videos. And I'll see you in the next video.